Hey everybody, it's Kenny K here again with another review from 1988. Some say 88, some say 1990. So, which is it? I don't know. I don't know. I think IMDb says 88. Um, but what the copy I said, it said 1990. So, Pledge Night from 1988. Let's I'm calling it 1990 because it's a piece of crap. I thought, okay, it's a slasher horror, comedy, horror. That was the subgenre, okay? It's about this group of pledges in a fraternity, and they have to. It's Hell Night, Hell Week, sorry, and the soundtrack for this piece of shit thing. It's gonna be a rant, by the way. The soundtrack for this movie is from Anthrax, so you would think, okay, that's it's gonna be a good movie. Fuck you! I'm a little pissed off because I hurt myself in training. An old fucking guy that can't lift as heavy anymore, I can still do this. Here you go. As long as I can shake my tits like howitzers, boom, 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 then I'm very happy. But I did hurt myself, so so I just wrote down the actors. I don't know the actor's name, never heard of them, don't care of them. You've got the three main frat brothers who, because most of them, it starts out by this hazing this guy who gets treated. Well, I think it's because he gave his pledge pin to his girlfriend, and then you never see that guy again. He goes home, I guess, and the girlfriend, she stays there, and she becomes, it's the sister sorority. So she stays there with two other girls, and they cook and things like that for the pledges. Now the pledges are treated like scum, like military scum. They're like in the cellars, on just mattresses, and the things they have to do. I was eating at the time. It almost made me puke. So you got Dan, one of the fraternity members. Now Dan, that's something special. Chip, he's the lower in command, and then JD, I believe, is the commanding frat brother, right? Dan, who's Dan? You want to know? That they tell that Dan, because you hear Dan constantly doing all the way through the movie, and they say, "What the hell is that?" The pledges. Yeah, keep him, keep a little bit of respect. He's a frat brother. We keep respect for him because they explain he has a brain hemorrhage. So after 6 months, he has to go to surgery, but it gets worse and worse every day. And so just treat him with respect, like you should treat a frat brother with respect. Okay, that's the deal. Okay. 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 Then you have, this is the now you, so you got a few names that I remember: Zahn, Kegel, uh, Boner. Uh, you had six pledges. I don't remember them all. So first and foremost, to begin the Hell Week, they do a pig night. Now, what's a pig night? It's not. It's a party, but not with other fraternities. Usually, it's with other fraternities, girls, sister fraternities. Now, in this case, it's with townies. These townies are coming there to fuck. That's basically the deal. They fuck, right? Um, and the stripper is coming, but the stripper can be your grandma, but she has tits like a howitzer. Boom. It could could be your grandma. She's up there, 60 years old. I think they couldn't afford it, so they start making out, fucking. They're basically, it's one big orgy at some point. That's a pig party. Then that's the last fun these pledges are gonna have. Now, what these pledges have to do? They gotta eat shit. A guy has to be blindfolded, and he put a sausage, like frying sausage in the toilet, but it's nasty. He's like eating it, and you see, it's then feeding worms, and and there's this one thing. There's a moment that Dan is on the table and doesn't really want to eat. He's acting a little bit normal, but then one of the pledge master, JD, goes to Wendy. Wendy's one of the lead little sisters. She's also his girlfriend, or not his girlfriend. She's basically the lead sister. I actually thought it was Renee Estevez, but she wasn't. And Dan starts to hump her, and then JD comes. He takes him off Wendy, and then he takes a knife and he stabs him with it. And this was all a prank, right? It was all a prank. And then Chip, he's like, no cops, no cops. We don't want him, the brain damage. Okay. Nobody calls the cops. Why not? He just got stabbed and attacked by a crazed idiot, but okay. But then you have one of the pledges, Boner. He's the most talkative. His mom comes by. She's a hippie, and she's still ex-hippie, but she still lives like a hippie. And she tells a story about her ex, Sid, short for Sydney. He was a member of this fraternity, but under another name, and he was a hippie back then. And he said, "Let's go to the protest, man. Cool beans." And then they were making this tub full of shit like oatmeal and other shit, coffee ground shit, right? And his task was going in the tub, but first of all, why is that laying there? And who the fuck puts sulfuric acid in a fucking tub? Who the fuck does that? Knowing this guy's gonna get burned like hell. And why is that doing there? Okay, he gets burned like hell, his face is melting, they had to rush him off to the hospital, and he died the next day of his wounds by Sid. So, and Sid was the girl, like I said, the boyfriend of Boner's mom, and a lot of times hippies had children out of wedlock, so it's his official dad too. Now, what happens is, Dan gets more and more crazy because there is even this moment of hazing that they and I don't know why, but they all wear jock straps. They don't have tidy whities. They don't. Most of the guys in back then tidy whities, which I think are yellow tidy whities with a yellow pea stain on. Some wear boxer shorts, but most of them wear jock straps. Like athletes do, with a bigger bulge where your ass is completely free. I don't know why. They hold a game that they have to go on an ice block and pinch with their ass a cherry to another location and then eat them. But there is this moment when they get cattle, like a cattle prod. No, not a cattle prod. Those things where when you put your mark in the cattle. You know what I mean? This is and they do it with, instead they have a real one. They show it to the pledge to make him scared. It's Dan who's doing that, and then JD takes a bucket of ice and takes the one that's in the bucket of ice. Now it has a similar feeling because it's ice cold. So they all like, oh, and they want them to scream as hard as possible, so the pledges downstairs are crapping their pants. Now what happens with Boner is JD takes the bucket of ice, and Boner's looking at JD. He's like, ooh, he just fucking, he marked him for real. I mean, he's completely out of his mind. Now, apparently, this is supposed to be a joke. They want one of the fraternity brothers to be a Mad Max kind of guy, a crazy guy who scares the pledges. Doesn't hurt him, but he already hurt one guy, and then something happens. Yeah, okay. So there were 4 fraternity. I don't know what the other guy with that long blonde hair like a bitch. Now you have to understand, when things start to get bloody, it takes 45 minutes. 45 minutes of hazing, eating shit, eating bugs, fucking STD women. I mean, it's just 45 minutes of that crap. That's not funny. It's gory. It's ugh. And then the gore starts. So what happens is one of the fraternity brothers goes to the toilet. You hear him. You don't see a lot of things happening. It's always the aftermath. So you see him yelling, and you hear, oh, oh! So they think it's Dan. They go and check it out, and they find one of the brothers, and apparently one of the brothers' ass or dick got ripped off or something. I don't know. He's sitting on the toilet reading his Playboy, and a bloody hand with this leather glove that the hippie Sid wore does this, and then he goes down, and then Dan comes in, but then I think Dan becomes possessed by what probably is Sid. No, it's not probably, it is Sid. And then he starts to kill everybody. Like, for example, Chip finds him for dead. He wants to call the police, and then Dan is behind him and is, oh, is he dead? And he takes his face, and he takes fucking, he stabs him in the back. He hugs him and stabs him with multiple tools in the back, and then JD goes and see, and every time he does it, it's so he's JD had enough because he was holding this ceremony. It was almost the end of Hell Week. He goes up and he gets this. He gets a champagne bottle or something in the head. He falls down. He gets tied up. His pants is pulled down. His tidy whities are pulled down. He has tidy whities, and his ass is completely full of cherry bombs. And the last one with the cord to put on, and he wants to put it on, but then something happens to him. He falls to the ground, and Sid comes out, and he has an open wound, and Sid basically it was Sid, of course, with a burned face from the acid. He looks more like a zombie than a ghost. He has his clothes on and all, Dan is lying dead because he's open, but bugs are coming out. Shit, what? And he does like this, a fireball, and he puts the cherry bombs on fire, and you hear this blast. And he also laughs, but like this. So it's beginning to be really, really frustrating. So Wendy and Boner have something. There's something going on between those two. At some point, they kiss. All right. Zahn is I think, in my opinion, one of the bravest guys. Boner, Zahn, and the rest are chicken legs. I mean, Keller, I think his name was, the black guy. He starts to box. He's muscular. But of course, it doesn't help. He puts, I think, his face in because another guy takes a sword, puts a sword through his body, and it's like it opens a wound, and he's running away. The other guy, and the other guy, and the black guy starts to want to find him, but then he takes something out of his body, which looked to me not like an intestine or something. It looked to me like a fucking caterpillar, and he strangles the black guy, Will Keller, with it, and he then takes his shirt off and puts Sid on his body. S-E-D. So just Sid. He doesn't become a minion of him or so. It's just that he choked him. Oh, I'm already tired to review this movie. So Zahn gets to a payphone. Now, of course, that's something that's so typical in college night, whatever, fraternity movies. Cops never believe you. They always think it's a prank. Always prank. So they don't want to come because they don't believe you. So bye-bye, no cops. So you have, why the fuck are cops there? Right? So no cops. Normally I have campus security, but that wasn't there too. So okay. He goes back. He gets attacked. He puts the axe in Sid, and then he gets his neck pulled up, and he starts to bleed out of it. I don't know what happens. His hands are like fire because of the acid that was in him, so he dies. Now, to just fast forward, because the kills aren't impressive, what happens basically is a fight happens, right, between him, being Boner, that's the last one, and Wendy. These are the two last ones. The rest is killed in a subpar way, all right? Now, what happens is he wants to kill Wendy. I think he wants to rape her, to be honest, because he takes off her shirt, her boobs. They all have like, every girl in that movie has like mosquito boobs. Nothing, it's like flat and this. But okay, that's something different. Then Boner comes in and he asks a few of the pledges, "Who are you?" And then he says, "I'm Boner." And then he just says, "I came back." He looks down. "I came back to warn you." Puts his arm on his shoulder and it disappears. So this entire thing could have been prevented by him saying, "I am Boner, your son." That what he wanted to say, "Watch out for these fraternity guys," but the pledges didn't have anything to do with it. So, and then an aftermath scene. So then they kiss. The two others, they're together, and then the guy that Wendy kissed when he got freed, he comes back, and then he's fucking another girl. A lot of boobs. You see a lot of boobs. But all these mosquito boobs, and then he's fucking her, but then Sid is underneath them with a sword that was put in him, the fraternity sword, and he's planning to do it. You don't see it putting the sword through both of them, but so okay. This movie, listen, this come on, I like this. Drink a little bit. This movie is 45 minutes of hazing. Not funny, gross hazing. Okay, gross. And then you've got 40 minutes-ish of killing. First by Dan, who's possessed, and then by Sid himself as a zombie Sid, ghost Sid. And then when he knows, he found his son, then he disappears. Movie ends by a cheap scare end at the end by him coming back to kill the cheating boyfriend. The boyfriend, and then the girl. And that, I mean, that's it. That's it. And that's the movie. Bad acting. Stupid one-liners. Screeching from Dan was annoying. And then screeching of Sid wasn't all as annoying. Oh. The movie was really exhausting. What was it? I don't know what I was watching. I really don't. It was comedic or comedy. I don't know. Maybe one or so. And if you ask me which one, I don't know. The fact they're all wearing fucking jock straps as underwear. Constantly wearing jock straps as underwear. Alright, listen. Pledge Night gets a 4.6, so that's not a good score. Like I said, some say it's from 88, the other say it's from 1990. It can be a 90s movie because it looked 90-ish. I give it a 4. It's not a good movie, although music from Anthrax should give that a higher score, but no fucking way. Directed Paul Zeller. So yeah, there you go. Pledge Night. Subscribe. See you next time. Kenny signing off.